Hey guys, welcome to another face-off challenge video, this time featuring me with my Five Nights at Freddy's sweater, which I got today in the mail. I ordered it from Amazon and I find it totally awesome. Hope you guys like it too. It looks really baggy on me, so I just needed to show you why I would be wearing something so baggy. That looks awesome, but you can't see it in the camera normally, so I had to show it, obviously. Anyway, to get to the actual point of this video, face-off. Last week's episode was really interesting. It was kind of human-centered again, which made it a bit tricky for me to come up with a concept for LPS customs. But just to recap real quick, it was about the freak show, which kind of made the artists, well, forced them to find some sort of balance between what's realistic and what's mystical, and kind of take these concepts of these freak show characters and kind of turn them into something that's slightly more mystical than the actual thing would have been in a real life freak show. And for me, of course, I was thinking like, I don't want to make a human LPS because that's not my style, so then I figured I'll just Google like freak show animal, and immediately, of course, the thing that I found was a two-headed lizard and other two-headed animals, and I thought that would be really interesting because I've never seen an LPS custom with two heads, and because I don't actually know if someone has done that already. If you have, then I'm sorry if I'm like bragging here that I'm the first person ever to have done it, but at least for me it feels like that because I haven't seen any other two-headed customs. And I thought, why not just see what happens and go there, and then I can tell you guys if it works or not. And I'm very happy to report to you that it does work! Hooray! And instead of showing a time-lapse for you this time around, I'm actually gonna show you like a sort of mini tutorial about how I did it, because the problem with LPS customs, if you want them to have two heads, is to find the proportions can be a bit tricky. So I'm just going to show you that video that I did when I was making my custom, and then I'm going to show you my custom, and I'm also going to actually show you the concept sketch, because when I first started thinking about this character, I wanted to be a lizard, because lizards, like in nature, I think at least, it's not crazy uncommon that they have two heads. I think it's one of the more kind of normal animals to have two heads. Well, it's not normal, but you know, it's not like a two-headed cat, it's not like super crazy. I don't know what my point is, but anyway, I think lizard was kind of the way to go, and I was thinking like it's gonna be two heads, so I should probably come up with a color scheme that's kind of like not over the top, but then, well, then I decided to make it over the top anyway. I was actually thinking about like if this lizard was actually from like a tropical place, then what would be interesting in terms of colors, and I realized something interesting would be a lizard that masquerades as like this flower and it's beautiful, but then once you touch it, it's really poisonous, and the lizard is super poisonous. So that's the concept. But anyway, I'm just gonna show you the head thing first, and I'm gonna try to explain to you kind of what to think about when you're making these two-headed customs, and see like just kind of what to keep in mind about the proportions. I'm not exactly sure how to explain that, but the one thing that I can tell you, which when I initially kind of told people I was gonna do these, people told me to use the hole in the body where the head normally is stuck, and try to enlarge that somehow and put two of those neck pins or whatever into that hole, and that doesn't work because the head is so big. So you can't have two heads like too close to each other. It wouldn't fit putting the two heads into that one hole in the middle of the body, so you have to actually sculpt two separate necks. Anyway, I don't know if I say that in the video already, so I'm sorry if I'm being redundant, but I'm just going to show you the video, and then I'm just going to show you the custom, and I'm sorry that I talk a lot, but here we go. So here's how I started making my two-headed lizard. I'm just going to explain to you how I got this structure done. I'm sorry I didn't film it, I just had to really concentrate and try to find a way to make this work. So obviously you can see that I didn't use the hole in the middle, because you can't really have two heads this big next to each other, like, well, that close to each other. So what I did was I made holes into the body here, where you can see that the necks come out. I then used steel wire and put it in the holes. I then took a Q-tip, like this one, and I cut a little plastic thing to make it just a little bit more stable, and I put it here, as you can see, on top of the steel wire. but I left a little bit of steel wire exposed, and I made holes into the heads, and then I stuck the steel wire into the holes. So long story short, here is how you can make a two-headed custom. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna sculpt really thick necks for it that cover both this little head blob thing and obviously the steel wire and the whole contraption. I'm gonna sculpt it in several layers because it's gonna... I think the first layer is gonna look really rough, but that's fine. It's just there to give it a bit of structure and stability. But yeah. So far so good. Let's see what happens after it's been sculpted. So here we go, the first layer is sculpted. I'm gonna try to make scales or something that looks a little bit like a bearded dragon, so that's why I already started making this texture here. What I'm gonna do next time I sculpt is just make the necks thicker and look more proportional and give it a bit of scaling, and it might actually need a third layer, but I'm not sure yet, so we'll see about that tomorrow when I sculpt the second layer. So this is day 2 of sculpting my two-headed lizard. As you can see, the neck is now nice and stable, and I'm just going to continue sculpting a little color on both of them, and then just continue this texture along the neck. So, here is my two-headed lizard, and it's sculpted, and I'm just gonna let it dry now. Someone wanted me to make a tutorial about how to make two-headed LPS. I don't think I'm ever gonna make another one, so I'm probably not gonna make a tutorial other than this video. So my tip for you, if you want to make an LPS with two heads, is to keep the proportions correct. That's actually really hard to do because the heads are so big, so you can't utilize the hole that's in the LPS body, because it is just, if you try to put the heads into it, it's going to be way too small for the necks, and the heads are going to be too big and they're going to be too close to the body, and it's going to look a bit strange. So keep that in mind when you're designing your LPS. I think it really depends on what two heads you're going to use and what body you're going to use, but in some cases you might want to consider using smaller heads than the original head, if you have, for example, baby LPS to use for that. For this one, I just wanted to make sure that the necks were long enough so that the heads wouldn't touch each other, and I actually think that it is kind of proportional. And yeah, here, as you can see, I use this texture to disguise the sculpting. I don't know if you guys think it looks cool yet. I hope it's going to look cool once it's painted. And I also gave these kind of fluffs around their necks to them so that it would disguise the round shape on the back of the head. So yeah, those are all the tips that I have, and I wish you luck if you want to try to make an LPS with two heads. I can tell you it's not terribly hard. You have to have a lot of sculpting material, and you're gonna have to know how to sculpt so that they're stable, and also obviously sculpt in multiple layers because you're not going to be able to do it on just one go. But yeah, so have patience and have fun making your two-headed LPS if that's what you want to do. So before I show my custom to you, I just wanted to show you this concept sketch that I had for this custom. As you can see, the color scheme was really kind of monochromatic, and I thought it was a good idea because it was such a complex custom with the two heads to begin with. But as I already said in the little intro, I actually decided to do something completely different. So here you go. Here is what the custom looks like now that it has been painted. I didn't want to do a time lapse of the painting because with such a like naturalistic look and not many interesting details, I thought I just wanted it to be kind of like this project for me to just paint it and not worry about, you know, painting it in front of the camera. And it's hard to explain. Sometimes when I paint stuff, I just want it to be just me painting and not having to worry about what it looks like on camera. And it's actually much easier for me to paint without filming it, so I'm sorry if you guys think that this paint job is cool and would have wanted to see it, but I didn't film it, so that's it for that. But yeah, as I said, the concept is that this is a really poisonous lizard. It masquerades as a tropical flower, and I actually got the idea for this color scheme, particularly this one, from a flower that was at my grandma's place, and then I just thought it would be really cool to make one head kind of these warmer shades, so yellows and oranges, and the other one kind of just blues and purples. And then I thought, why not just give it like a green body, because that's a standard lizard color, and yeah, this red that then kind of morphs into purple here and morphs into orange on this side, and I thought that would be cool. Even though it sounds like a lot of colors, I still think that it works, and I think it looks good, so I'm quite happy with it. I haven't decided yet if I'm gonna sell it, because it was such a complex custom to make. I obviously wouldn't want to sell it for, like, you know, a low price or anything, which I've noticed that you guys have kind of different standards of how much you want to pay for something than I have. So I might want to just keep this one for a while at least, and maybe see if there's interest for people to buy this. But yeah, you know, it was an interesting challenge to make a two-headed custom, and it was actually a lot easier than I had anticipated, so I'm quite happy with it. And yeah, the only thing I would change if I were to make this custom again would be to have two lizard heads that have this awesome texture. This texture was actually on the LPS already, so I really loved painting this side. Unfortunately, this side had just like this normal surface, so it's not as interesting, but I still think that it gives both of them kind of different look, and I really like how it turned out, and I hope that you guys like it too. I think it is suitable for like a freak show, or, well, not a freak show maybe, but some sort of like exotic, interesting animals freak show thing. I don't know. But yeah, anyway, I think it totally fulfilled the challenge, or the thing that I could take from the face-off challenge and interpret as an LPS custom. So I think I did an okay job. I hope you guys like it too. And yeah, that's it for this week. See you again next week. My next face-off vlog, or, well, video, might actually be up a little bit late because I'm gonna be abroad from Thursday until Tuesday, so you might not see that video until Wednesday or Thursday. But I hope that you guys are enjoying this challenge, and I hope that you guys like this custom, and see you again tomorrow. Bye!